Hey guys, so it is a rainy, flooded Monday morning, and I was working at my computer, which I have flipped to the other side of the room because the sun has shifted and the morning sun was now blinding me through the door window and reflecting on my computer screen. But as I was sitting there working on my computer, I saw a movement out of the corner of my eye, and I looked out at my driveway and FedEx was coming up. I was not expecting a package, and so I ran out there in the rain because the gate was closed. You know, we keep a gate closed on our driveway unless I know a package is coming. Now, if you've been around for a little bit, you know back in the fall I did a sponsored post with a brand and traveled down to southern Alabama, and I went through a tour of a mill where they make paper products, and for no reason they have sent me a package in the mail. Isn't that cool? I have to tell you, this is one of the best brands I've worked with. They like to keep that relationship going. Now, this is not a sponsored post or anything like that, but I thought I would go ahead and open up the package and see what they sent me, because normally when I work with a brand and I do a sponsored post of some sort, some brands will send you stuff, but usually it's in conjunction with the sponsored post. They don't continue to send you things afterwards. So I was very surprised to get this package, and I have no idea what's in here. But I'm going to open up this box from Georgia Pacific and see what it is. Ha! Yep. More paper products. Oh, okay. So, well, first of all, they sent some animal-themed bowls, which these come in handy. Mr. Smith takes food to work all the time for lunch, and he purchases paper bowls that he can heat up in the microwave and eat his food there. So, in case you didn't know, Georgia Pacific makes Dixie products. They sent some cute animal print plates as well. These are called Craftimals. Oh, okay, cute. So, it's a mask, and I'm a tiger. So it's all different animals. They're both all different animals. Got some cups here, snack cups with lids. Oh, there's a note down in there. Here's my little note card. Aw, from your pals at GP. Isn't that cute? I mean, I'm not even being sponsored to do this, and they're continuing to send product. Now, this is something they actually shared about when I went on the tour. Angel Soft toilet paper, bathroom tissue, is made here in Alabama at the plant that I went to. And they mentioned during the tour that Angel Soft was going to be coming out with a lavender fragrant tissue. And here it is. Oh, and the fragrance is on the tube, not on the tissue itself. So, pretty cool. Well, thank you, Georgia Pacific, for sending me that. Hey guys, so I've got supper going in the Instant Pot. You might hear it beep here in just a second because it's almost finished. So yesterday I had to take little Miss Stumper to the veterinarian. Now, we had already planned on scheduling an appointment here in the next week or so for her and Nubs because they were both due their checkups and all of that. But on Thursday last week, she had this thing on her ear, and her brother, Stumper Nubs, tend to run like maniacs through the briars and everything else around here. So they get little nicks on themselves, they catch thorns and stuff like that. And so having little injuries isn't really something we worry too much about. You know, we keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't get infected or anything like that. But it happens with outdoor cats. However, this didn't look like a thorn had caught them or briars or something like that. This was a spot in the middle of her ear. Now, it didn't look great, but it didn't seem to be bothering her, so we just kind of kept an eye on it. Again, I cleaned it off, you know, make sure it's clean and all of that. Well, over the course of the weekend, it was not looking good. It still didn't seem to really be bothering her, but it was looking swollen, and it didn't look good. And I was pretty sure that she had been bitten by something, probably a spider. We have brown recluses, we have black widows, and it has been so warm that a lot of insects have come out that we usually don't see in January or February. So yesterday morning, as soon as the veterinarian office opened, I called and scheduled an appointment for her and for Nubs. Nubs will be going in next week, but we took Stumper in yesterday. And Dr. Penny checked her out and agreed that he thought it looked like a bite too. So she's fine. We have to give her a course of antibiotics, and of course she's now up to date on all of her shots and all of that. And Nubsy will go in next week for his routine appointment. So those of you who saw that I had posted about a vet trip for Stumper on Instagram, no worries, Stumper's just fine. So one of the things that I did today was I went back to the salon in Coleman that I went to on a regular basis previously because I decided to get my nails done. And I just had them done short because I need to kind of grow into nails again. I like having pretty nails, what can I say? And of course, because I was at the salon, right next door was one of my favorite antique stores. I've got a lot of antique stores around here, but this is one of them in Coleman. And so I walked out of the salon, I went right next door and straight into the antique shop. And I found something really cool. I have had a project in mind, a simple project, nothing major. And I don't need weather for it, thank goodness. But I had been looking for something and I found it. And I will show you in a minute what it was I got at the antique store. But first, I have had several people asking me about the kitchen light that I have here, up there. This light here, and I was asked about how I went about making this. And I was going to pull up my photos because when I made it, I took photos to do kind of a step-by-step tutorial of how I made this, and unfortunately they are nowhere on any of my hard drives. I searched and I guess I must have deleted them. But making this light was super easy, and so I did pull the footage. I had a couple little clips of what I was doing when I made this. And essentially what I did is I had this old beam, this piece of wood, a piece of lumber that was very rustic, very old, from the farmhouse that we lived in back in North Carolina. But I knew that someday I wanted to make something cool out of it. I just didn't know what. And so I was in a coffee shop here in Hartselle one day, and I noticed this light fixture, and I'm like, oh, I could make something like that out of that piece of wood. Now, this piece of lumber is sort of like a 2x4, but it's larger than the 2x4s that you would find at your lumber yards nowadays. But it wasn't quite beefy enough for replicating that light that I saw, because it was made out of like a beam of wood. And so what I did is I took this piece of lumber and I cut it in half. Then I stacked the two pieces of wood on top of each other, leaving the really cool curved natural edges exposed. While they were stacked on top of each other, I took a drill bit and I drilled a hole directly through both pieces of wood. Then I got a long eye bolt, like this one right here that you can see, long enough to go all the way through and come out the bottom right there. That holds together the two pieces of wood, as well as give me the piece to hang it from. So there's one at this end and there's one down at the other end as well. So then I just took the original light fixture that was here when we moved in and I removed it. And replaced it with that kind of spidery looking, octopus looking light fixture. They come in different lengths and different numbers of light bulbs, and I've actually thought about replacing that when I redo my ceiling with one that has a little bit longer cables. Because the one thing that I don't like is that these bulbs down here on the end, in order to get them all the way down here, I had to kind of put that cable up in the air, and I would much rather have had them all come straight down and then go along the top of the piece of wood. That we don't really see all of the wires like that. And then I simply hung the lights down over the top of the wood. Now before I put it all together, the long eye bolts and the chains, I actually spray painted them a kind of hammered bronze color with some spray paint, because of course they didn't come in the color I wanted, and I really didn't want that silver color. Now one of the things that I didn't do was spray paint the nut that holds it together, and I wish I'd had done that. So when I take all my light fixtures down to do my ceiling project, I'll probably paint them at that time. That way it all matches and I don't have that galvanized silver color up there. So I think the most expensive thing was the light fixture, which I ordered off of Amazon. I think it cost me maybe $30. So the light fixture and then the chains, the hooks, bolts, all of that, I think all together I've spent maybe about $50 tops to create that light over the kitchen table. So I hope that explains it well enough to allow you to be able to replicate that if you are interested in doing something like that. I wish, like I said, I wish I still had the photos, because I took a whole bunch of photos of the different steps because I had intended to do a blog post about it, and then just never got around to doing it. And you know, that was like 3 years ago. So, oh, one other thing is the bulbs that I have in there, because there's so many bulbs on here. I got there's 7 bulbs. This came with light bulbs, but it was those round clear ones, and I wanted to replace them with these kind of Edison looking bulbs. And originally I bought Edison bulbs, however they put off a ton of heat, and so having 7 light bulbs up there that put off heat made it really toasty sitting at the kitchen table. And so I replaced those with Edison looking bulbs, but they're actually LED, so they are efficient and they don't heat up when you have it on. So the last thing before I end the video is I have to show you what I got at the antique store. I got a barn door. An old door, and this thing is heavy as can be. I mean, like super, super heavy and solid, and I've been wanting to get one of these. So this will be a project probably this weekend, but I'm not going to tell you yet what it is. So that is it for today. I'm going to go in there and get dinner finished up so that I can get on with the rest of my work for today. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I will talk to y'all next time.